forget to ask that. Well done, Christina. There you go. The beauty when you turn that record button on is you get this little prompt that says your conversation is now being transcribed, and I see all of my words just zipping across the screen there, which is very distracting, so I'll get rid of that. Yes, so anyway, for the benefit of the recording, those that haven't seen it, thank you very much to your organisations for supporting the programme. Thank you for you guys for being involved in it. So we're going to use this call really just to I'm just going to spend 5 minutes just to tell you a bit about the organisation and how the foundation's been born out of that and the work that we do. Because I think when you come on board with something new, I always think it's really healthy to understand, where that's come from and where it's going, because as I mentioned, you guys are a key integral part of that journey. Once I've finished, I'm going to hand you over to Jack, who's going to introduce himself. He's our program lead for Dare to Dream. He's going to tell you a bit more about the program and his background and his role in it and what it means to him, and give you a bit of advice and support on what the role of a mentor looks like on a kind of practical basis being involved in the program. And then Christina is going to walk you through some of those all important housekeeping issues, what the different events are, what they look like, how they come together, what the safeguarding processes are, etc. And the purpose of this is by the end of the call, hopefully you guys feel as prepared as you can be for going into the schools for that first event. And then rest assured, we'll be with you every step of the way during the events, in between the events, to make the experience as supportive and as rewarding for you as we possibly can. Okay, so I'm just going to share a few slides with you just to introduce a bit of background on who we are and where this all kind of really came from, really. So you should all be able to see my first slide now. Yeah. So yeah, welcome to the call, those of you from First Central and AP Security. So in terms of us as an organisation, the foundation is born out of the commercial arm of our... God, someone's got a good ringtone. Well done. That kept me on my toes. Yeah, the foundation is born out of the commercial arm of the business, which is LoveLocalJobs.com. So that's a job board that was established in 2010. Originally, it was Brighton and Hove Jobs, and then that became Gatwick Diamond Jobs and 1066 Jobs and Coastal West Sussex Jobs. And around about 2015, it was pulled together to be the sort of regional offering that it is today, which is LoveLocalJobs.com. And over the years, what we've been able to do is build relationships with employers through the job board that I guess was the early sort of footprints and stepping stones to wanting to do something that went a bit further than digital signposting. The website has lots of advice and guidance, but we wanted to do something really that brought together those kind of disparate worlds of education and employment. And that's really powered by the DNA of the founder of Love Local Jobs, who, like a lot of the young people that we try and support on the programme, his kind of early life wasn't necessarily pointing him in the direction of being, a successful businessman and entrepreneur and having the opportunities that he now has. So recognising that and trying to create something that is fun and engaging and inspirational for young people that can start pointing them in the right direction was really the sort of motivation of it. So around about 2015, we started doing projects in the community that specifically set out to achieve that. So you may have heard, I think those of you from First Central, you may even have been involved in Be the Change, which was the initial project that we did, Take the Leap, and now most recently Dare to Dream. Obviously, the key is they have to be 3 words and subscribe to the inspirational nature of what they're about. In 2018, as the work that we were doing grew, we decided to set up the foundation as a separate entity, as a community interest company. And really since then, things have gone from strength to strength. At that time, I think we were doing 3 programs, and this year we're already scheduled to do 31 programs and hope to reach probably 35 by the end of the academic year. The next phase for us is we've applied for charitable status, and we hope that means that we can make the programme available to even more young people and even more schools. One thing that I will say is, we've certainly noticed as an organisation the demand from schools and youth organisations to provide experiences like this for young people has gone through the roof since the pandemic, because of the obvious effects and challenges that presents. On top of the fact that it is a difficult time for young people anyway. So anyway, hopefully that gives you a bit of background on how this work came to being and what it was born out of. I'm going to shut up now, which is great for everybody. I'm going to hand you over to the far more charismatic Jack, who is the program lead for our Dare to Dream program. So Jack, do you want to?
Yeah, thanks very much, mate. So before we get on to it, I just want to check everyone can see and hear me, because I had a right old 2 and 8 with my computer a minute. We were really nearly getting into actual fisticuffs, me and the computer. So if you can, just give me a thumbs up, so I know that you can hear me. Ah, wonderful. Hello, everyone. How are you? Good to see you. Sorry I'm late. I promise it wasn't my fault. It was this computer that I'm going to have words with again in a minute. It's really nice to see you all. Thank you for making the time this Friday morning. Thank you. I'll just echo what Paul says for your continued support. I mean, First Central AP Security are great believers of the work that we do here at the foundation. So to be able to work with you again is an absolute thrill. Yeah, as Paul says, my name is Jack. I'm the head of program delivery for Dare to Dream. So you poor unfortunate souls are going to have the pleasure of listening to this voice an awful lot over the coming months. I apologise in advance, but what can I tell you about Dare to Dream without giving too much away? Obviously 3-hour-long presentations full of all sorts of different content. We'll have a laugh along the way. There may well be a few tears, there often is. I don't really want to go into too much detail, my friends, of that content, because you've got to sit through it for those them 3-hour-long assemblies in particular. But a little bit about me before I get into the program. So my name is Jack, and for the last 20 years or so, I've been a radio host. I am a breakfast show host. The show that I most known, if you want, for hosting was the Heart Breakfast show with Tom, Nicola and Jack. There's me up there, good looking bloke in the check shirt, along with 2 other people that we don't need to get into. I did that show for 15 years, and I now present a breakfast show on a radio station called More, but I left Heart at the end of May 2019. And when I did, me and Gary, who you've heard about, the guy behind the foundation, who've known each other for a long time, got talking about what he wanted to do with the foundation and about how he wanted a new program. And Gary sort of knew a little bit about my backstory and my life, because I've been very fortunate to be very successful as a radio presenter, but my early life wasn't pointing me in that direction at all, which I won't go into in too much detail, but suffice to say, I had quite a tough upbringing in quite a tough part of the world. I did not do well at school at all. I suffered a lot at school at the hands of other people, but I managed to turn that round and turn my life into something that I'm very proud of. I'm a very humble man, and I don't like talking about myself, but needs must. I'm very proud of what I've achieved and very proud of what I've gone on to become. And the reason that I love my job so much now, there are many reasons, but one of the things that we really try and get across to the students that we talk to with Dare to Dream is where they find themselves now and where they're from doesn't have to have a damn thing to do with where they can get to. When you grew up where I grew up in South London, you're written off from the get-go, which is something that we at the foundation and I, with an enormous amount of passion, just don't believe is fair, because every single person, every single student we meet has got something about them, has got potential, has got talent, has got ability, and some of them, they just need a helping hand. Do you know what I mean? They need a little bit of guidance. They need a little bit of love and belief from some people, and that is what the foundation gives to them. They may not be academic. Does that mean that they're not going to go on and achieve anything? No, because I wasn't academic. I'm sure there are people on this call that weren't overly academic, but we're all doing okay. So we talk to them about self-awareness and the fact that who they are, the person they are, what they represent, what they stand for, their identity, is hugely important, because one of the things you'll hear me say time and time again in these assemblies is that people employ people. We want them to understand that the person they are, what they represent and stand for, is hugely attractive to potential employers. But far more importantly than that, it makes them a really decent human being that the world needs more of. We talk about mindsets, having a can-do attitude, gratitude and being thankful for what we've already got, resilience, teamwork, employability, and many, many more things. As I said, I love my job. I can't do it unless I really believe in what I'm saying to these students, and I really, really do. So I'm very blessed from that end. And the only advice I would give you is, when you come to mentor your students, and we'll talk a little bit about this a bit later, really engage with them as much as you can. We will take you on a journey, I promise, and you'll see students grow from this tool to this tool in front of your very eyes. You're going to take an awful lot from it, from yourselves as well. Yeah, you can probably hear my voice. I'm very proud of what we do at the foundation, and we're really, really proud to be working with your guys' companies again. So thanks for all your support. I don't want to go, I mean, that's just like a nutshell. It's not even a shell. You couldn't fit any kind of sea creature in it. It's not even a shell. It's so small, but I don't want to ruin it for you when you come on the day. So yeah, hopefully I'll get to talk to a couple of you at the end, but that's an overview. And what Christina usually does now is tells me everything that I've forgotten, and then tells me off after the call. So I'll hand you over to my lovely friend Christina.
Thanks, Jack. Great. So Paul, I'll start sharing the slides now.
Yep, that sounds good. Do you need me to do anything, or can you just take over?
If you unshare, maybe. See if I can do that.
There you go.
Right. Can everybody see my slides?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Hang on a second. There we go. So
Christina, I've lost it now. I don't know if that's the same for everybody. I'm just back to being seeing the people.
I can share it.
Yeah.
Right, is that better? Great.
Yeah.
So those of you that are on the call, so we've got the following programs happening, launching in October. So we've got 5 mentors from First Central who are working with Warden Park Academy. We've got 5 mentors from First Central who are working with Oak Hall Community College, and then we've got 5 mentors from OP Security who are working with Packer. And the programme structure you can see here is there are 4 interactions over the next couple of terms, and there are 3 events in schools, which are the Journey Skills event and the Ultimate Goal event. And then there is also a workplace visit, which we'll do in between the Skills and the Ultimate Goal event, which will be at your workplace, and it's a chance for those students to see a working office, to understand the product or service that you provide, and just to really understand the roles and how all the teams fit together. So here is what a typical day will look like in a school. So each of the start times will be slightly different, and you should all have the diary invites now in your calendars. So you will have your specific start time, but it's around 9:30. And what we'll do once we get to the school, we will go and sit in the back of the hall, and then Jack will deliver an assembly to the whole of the year 9, and that lasts approximately an hour. And then after that point, we will have a mentor briefing. So that will just be with the 5 mentors, us, and then also a member of the teaching staff who's supporting us with the delivery. And that's really a chance just for us to talk to you about the content and to plan the rest of the day and to make sure you're fully prepared. And then after that point, we'll have a workshop with the 15 students who are taking part in the mentoring. And then after that, we will have the mentoring sessions, and then lunch will also be provided by the school. So in terms of the types of students that we work with year 9. It's before they've chosen their GCSE options, so it's a really nice year to work with, to start talking to them about what they really sort of like, what they enjoy, what they think they're good at, and really nice for the whole year group to hear the messages and to try and really sort of work with them across the year, so that they can, the whole year group can sort of look at sort of the things that they want to work on as well. In terms of the mentoring, so the school has the opportunity to select 15 students from that year group who they really think needs an extra helping hand. And these are students that are sort of perhaps struggling academically, they might be lacking in self-confidence, they might be sort of finding it really difficult to engage in class, but essentially they're the students that this school really think have got huge potential, but they just need that little extra sort of support or helping hand or boosted confidence to get them there. So the role of a mentor, this is probably the bit that you all really want to hear about. So I'm going to hand over to Jack to give you a bit more detail about this.
Yeah, thanks for lovely. I unfortunately can't see what's on your screen, Christina, but this bit I know how to do, no bother. So you'll see for Christina's slide, there are various sort of different headings that we put under the banner of the role of a mentor. But to put it really simply, the reason you are there is to be a friend, is to be a mate, is to be a pal. The students that we work with in the mentoring session, there's potential there, but they might not be tapping into it for all sorts of reasons. They might not be tapping into it because they're just painfully shy. It might be because there's a real lack of self-belief, self-confidence there. It may be other reasons. Maybe they're struggling sort of with a friendship group, struggling with things that 13, 14-year-old young people struggle with, things that we can all remember because we've been there. And that's the beauty of your role. You get to be a friend, get to be an arm around the shoulder that can have a chat, share your experiences and offer a little bit of comfort and alleviate the pressure that many of these students are feeling. Because I'm 48 years old, I'm not a young man anymore, but I can remember what it's like to be 13, 14. There's all sorts of things going on. Your body is changing, you're changing into an adult, you're getting asked questions about what you're going to do, what you're going to do here. And it can be quite a lot of pressure on you at that age. So what we try and do with the foundation and with your help is just alleviate some of that pressure. First and foremost, you are a friend. You are an adult figure, responsible adult figure that they can chat to, open up to, that isn't a figure of authority. Because what we find is a lot of these young people think that when a mum or a dad says something to them, or a teacher, we get the reaction of, well, you're my mum or dad or carer, so you've got to say that. Or you're my teacher, so you've got to say that. Well, the work that we do with you guys is, no, we don't have to say that. We're here because we want to say it. I make it abundantly clear to them all the time that I won't lie to them, and I know you won't as well. So what you kind of are is a comfort, is a friend that can share your experiences of being a student in year 9. You can share your experiences of leaving school and going into either further education, training or to employment, and tell them a little bit about yourself. The one thing that I always say to the mentors, and I think it's really, really important, is, but it's up to you how comfortable you are. The more you give of yourself, the more the student will give you, for absolute certain. We work very hard in the workshop before the mentoring sessions start to get the students to understand that if they just want to sit, look at their feet and just grunt yes and grunt no or grunt I don't know for half an hour, then they're not really going to get anything out of it. So we really encourage them to open up to you, and they'll find that easier if you guys really open up to them and tell them some of your experiences and your stories and your pearls of wisdom, and you've got plenty of them. So that's the thing. For all of the headings we can show you, first and foremost, you're a friend, you're a pal. What I will say is the first session usually is the hardest, because a lot of these youngsters don't have that figure, that adult figure to look up to and chat to, so they don't know how to do it. So their first one, they're totally alien to it. So the first one can be the trickiest. That said, some of the new measures we've put in since I started full-time with the foundation at the start of September, at the start of this month, have really helped break down some of the unease, both from them and for you guys, because it's not lost on us that this is the first time many of you would have done anything like this. So by the time we get to the actual mentoring, the whole thing seems a little bit more chilled out and everyone seems a bit more relaxed, and there's a bigger element of, oh, we can all trust each other now. So yeah, really long-winded way, forgive me, of me saying your main role as a mentor, for everything else we can tell you, is to be a friend, someone they can have a chat with, share some things with, and someone that can offer them some advice. So that pretty much, I would say, that's how I see the role of a mentor, and I hope that gives you a better understanding of what you're all about.
So in terms of the mentor briefing on the day, and just sort of to lead on from Jack's point, is that we will have another opportunity to sit down with you all before you meet the students. So we will have a chance to reflect on the morning's delivery, any of the content. We will have the mentoring booklets to share with you, so you can have a little look through. We can go through any questions, any concerns you have, and just to have a bit of a chat and just make sure you're prepared before we meet the students. Another thing that we do ask all the schools to provide during the mentor briefing is just some background information on the students that you will mentor. So we ask for them to provide a hobby or interest, strongest or favourite subject, and any barriers that they think that you need to be aware of. These can be really helpful just to help prepare you. Also, we ask all the schools, they've confirmed that they will do this. In the rare instance that they're unable to, just use this as an opportunity when you do meet the students, in the mentoring sessions, to just ask them about their interests and hobbies and their strongest subjects if you don't have that information to hand. But there will be a teacher in the mentor briefing who can tell you about the students and ensure that you're prepared for the day. So in terms of the mentoring, you will be allocated 3 students each throughout the course of the programme. They will be the same students, and we will have the hour workshop, which is hugely valuable. It's a chance for the students to come in and just instantly just to get to know you in a relaxed, informal, fun way. It's really fun activities that sort of breaks down any barriers or any sort of concerns they might have about mentoring and what that means. So they get to know you before the mentoring sessions happen. Each mentoring session will be 30 minutes. We try and allow a 5-minute break in between. That's not always possible, and I know some people would like longer, but it's hard to try and fit the sessions into the school timetable. And the aim, as Jack says, for the mentoring sessions is to really explore the young people's potential. A lot of them perhaps may not be academic. They may be thinking that actually, what will I do when I leave school? But actually, it's just a chance for them to really realise that they've got an awful lot to offer the world. The mentoring booklets that we will show you in the mentor briefing, we try and make these interactive and for you to help run your sessions. So you can see on this slide here that there are some circle the ways you'd like other people to describe you, things like that. So it should be a chance for them to have a little look, have a moment to think about it, and then start circling things. So hopefully that booklet is supporting you to run a session in a way that you'll have lots to talk about, and for them to work on something. So at the end of the booklet, we do ask them to what they will work on before the next session, and that's really important for you to sort of draw that to their attention, so they can try and work on something over the course of the programme. So when they come back to see you at the next event, hopefully they've been working on something, and then by the end of the programme they've achieved something, even if it's small. It just helps them to sort of get on track and understand, the attributes and qualities that they do have to offer the world. So in terms of
Sorry, Christina, it's Steve from First Central. Can I just ask a quick question on that slide?
Yes, of course you can.
So is it 1 hour as a group and then another 30 minutes per student to?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you. Yeah. Right. Thank you.
No worries. In terms of safeguarding, so this is the action that we will, and the measures we put in place to ensure that the young people and yourselves are safe at all times throughout the programme. So how we do that, we have a designated safeguarding officer. So Lisa's on the call. Lisa, give everyone a wave. So Lisa's responsible for the safeguarding, ensuring our safeguarding policy is kept up to date, and will be there if you have any concerns to talk to Lisa, and I'll also be there as well to support in that role. So our safeguarding policy, this outlines all the processes that we have in place to ensure that everyone's kept safe at all times. We do ask that all mentors read this in advance of the programme starting, and we do ask that you acknowledge it. So I do have an online form for you just to acknowledge if it doesn't work on its Google Forms, so it doesn't work on some systems. If you could just send us an email to confirm you've read it, we then will keep a record, and we know that all the mentors on the programmes read our safeguarding policy and understands the procedures. Also, I've shared with everybody our resource page, and there should be a video on there from the NSPCC, and that's a really helpful video. It sort of just brings to life the safeguarding policy and why organisations like us need to have one and what we need to do to ensure everyone's safe. The main thing for you to take away about safeguarding is to notify us if you have any concerns. So you might be talking to somebody in your mentoring session and they might say something where they might be talking about if they're suffering from anxiety or if they're depressed, or if you think they're not having enough food, if they're not eating their meals or something like that. You think, actually, I'm going to talk to somebody about that. Just raise that with us. Even if you're not sure if it's safeguarding, that absolutely doesn't matter. Just let us know. What we will do then is raise that with the school, and that's incorporated as part of their safeguarding procedures. They have a designated team that is responsible for this. It's called a pastoral team. And 99% of the time, the school's always aware of the safeguarding issue. But yes, do let us know. And we ask that you are as confidential as possible about it. So please don't talk about any safeguarding concerns in front of anybody else. Just come up to us privately, and then we'll talk to the school. We do have a code of conduct, so that's incorporated as part of the safeguarding policy. So that's sort of the do's and don'ts. So do have a read of that and make sure you're aware before you come into the school. And just to let you know, there will be a member of school staff present at all times, and we will always be present in a room as well. Communication can't take place outside of the programme. So, for example, if a student asks you for your mobile number or to follow on social media, if you just politely explain that that's unable to happen, you've been told by the programme that that can't happen, and that perhaps if you wanted to sort of reassure them, maybe the school can email you on their behalf if you were comfortable with that. Also, finally, just to say that secrets, unable to keep secrets. So if someone does share something with you and say, please, can you keep this to yourself? If you just explain that you're unable to do that, but you will tell a member of the teaching staff and us, and you'll be as discreet as possible. So just a few sort of tips and things to note. School environments are very busy. Probably noticed that. I don't know if anyone's been into a school recently, but especially in corridors at break times. So we try and sort of get you straight into rooms to make sure that we keep the disruption to a minimum. But just little things to be aware of. So, for example, students might be a little bit late to their mentoring sessions. Schools do their very best to get them there on times, but it might be that a student's travelling from the other side of the school site. So just to be aware, if they're a couple minutes late, that's why, and we'll do our very best to get them there on time. Another thing that we do hear from some students is that they don't know why they've been selected. So we've been working really hard with the school to make sure that they tell the students that it's hugely positive and it's because they've got potential. We've also got a video that Jack's created for the students to watch in advance. And Jack also explains at the beginning of the workshop about why they've been selected. And we obviously want them to feel as positive and excited about it as possible. But sometimes a student might say, I still don't know why I've been selected. So just try and reiterate those messages. Jack will explain it in the workshop. And if you've got any queries, just let us know before the mentoring starts. Some students may take a while to open up, and that's really, really normal. Do not worry, especially the first session, if you do a lot of the talking, that's absolutely fine. They won't know what to expect. They won't have known who you are. So that can often be the case at the first one. And it can just be the sort of nature of their personality. They would absolutely have taken something away from the day. And it gives them time to reflect, and hopefully by the next session that they will have worked on something, gone through the content from the booklet, and be able to sort of talk to you a little bit more about what they've been working on. The booklet that we'll give you, you might just want to make some notes on the back page of the names of your students and anything that you think is helpful for you to remember for next time. And also, hopefully everyone's got all the dates in their diaries. We do ask that everyone commits to the dates. It's really hard for us to rearrange any of the mentoring sessions. So if there is an emergency or if someone is sick on the day, please can you let your sort of person who's organising it from your office know, copy us in if that's possible. And there should be some reserve mentors, either people who participated in the programme last year who can step in your place. But if you can be on there on the day, we do ask that everyone attends. So a few things just to look out for and what to do next. Everyone should have received our Business Mentor webpage. So this just has some key resources on it, including our handbook, our safeguarding policy. And we do ask that everybody acknowledges that they've read the safeguarding policy, that they're happy for their photos to be taken if they are, and then also acknowledge our data protection form as well. Also, everyone should have received details nearer the time. So obviously, if your event's not for a few weeks, we'll email you nearer the time. But I think those who've got an event on Tuesday, you should have had everything, how to get to the school, details on parking and things like that. So keep an eye out for those. And also, please let us know if anyone's got any dietary requirements, and especially if those who've got the event on Tuesday, if you do have a dietary requirement, could you just pop me an email so we can then let the school know so they can cater for that requirement. Great, so I'm going to stop sharing now and ask if there's any questions.
Just quickly, if I may just cut in there, because this is the weirdest Teams call I've ever been on, because I can't see anything. I can't see nothing. And I'm usually so much more chatty than this, my friends. So I feel like I'm in an escape room. We're aware that seems to be quite a lot of information to take on board. And yeah, it is. But please don't let it overwhelm you. The safeguarding information that we give, please don't let it overwhelm you. Something that I always like to say on these calls, and we'd like you to go away into your weekend knowing it, is that when we're in the school environment, it's absolutely the school's prerogative to take care of the students, that they've got their back. We want you to know as a foundation that when we're in the school, we've got your back. So if there's any point during the day where you're not sure about something is uncomfortable, just come and give one of us a little poke, say, can I have a word? It does seem quite heavy, but I promise you're going to really enjoy it. There's a good few laughs in there along the way, and once the students really start settling into it and engaging with you, which, as I said earlier, it's been a lot better since we've had more time with them. Yeah, you'll absolutely love it. So please don't get too overwhelmed. The school, when Christina mentions about crossover into lessons, I think it's funny because it's absolute organised chaos. It's brilliant. And please don't worry about the food, because school lunches have gone to the next level in the last 30 years. I mean, they used to be pretty bad, didn't they? But now they're proper, like good, proper sort of cafe quality food. You're going to love it. So please don't go away feeling too overwhelmed. Just make sure on the day, if you've got any problems, you just give either Lisa, Christina, or myself a little nudge to say, can I have a word? So I just wanted to say that. I still can't see anything. It's really very surreal.
Does anyone have any questions?
Could I ask a question about logistics? I mean, I guess most of us are going to be driving. You know, is there parking available for us to get there, or do we need to park in the streets around? What's the situation?
There's parking at both. Yeah, there's parking at all the schools, on everyone on this call, so you should be absolutely fine. I think in Warden Park they've reserved spaces, and then at Oak Hall there is parking, and also at Peckham there's parking, so it's absolutely fine.
Are you able to share who our mentoring buddies are? I know you said that there's 5 from each company. It would be useful to know who else is on with me. You know,
yeah,
so
we can do that. What I'll do, I will follow up, because I think you're allocated to Oak Hall, so
that's right.
I'll follow up with an email. I've done it with Warden Park because it's on Tuesday. What I'll do, an email to just the 5 of you, so I can do that this afternoon. So you can see who everybody is.
I thought, sorry to interrupt, I thought Steve was on the Warden Park list, actually.
I might have swapped Steve over.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm on Oak Hall Community College on 13th.
Because it was a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. I have to sort of. Okay. But anyway, there are 5 on Warden Park and 5 on Oak Hall, and I believe everyone's happy with the dates, so I can redo that. Those for Warden Park on Tuesday, is everyone okay with everything? Is there any questions anyone's got about how to get there and things like that? I think there was a point about traffic.
Yeah. I've got a quick query. I'm really local to Warden Park, but I think the timings for the day are 9 till 3. But from what I can see, the last session finishes at 2:30. Now I'm going to have to get back for school pickup. So will it kind of be okay to leave soon after 2:30?
Yes,
I'm worried about the traffic.
Absolutely, okay, that'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, thank you.
I was just going to say that I still need to send over my documents, but I'll do that to you now. I'm just getting my license out now, ready to ping over. Sorry about the delay. I'll make sure I get onto it.
Thank you.
Yeah, same here. I'm catching up.
Brilliant. Any other questions?
I think Amy's got a question. I think Amy's popped her hand up. You all right, Amy?
Yeah, good, thank you. Hello. Yeah, quick question. So I'm on Oak Hall, so I think I'm with you, Steve. The meeting invite is in my diary for a 10:30 start. Is that right? Just looking at the agenda that.
Yes, it is. I think Outhall is going to be slightly later, so
Okay.
that's fine. We think it's 10:30 at the moment, but we'll let you know if it's any different. But it's pretty sure it's 10:30.
Cool, thank you.
And we've got Charlie. Charlie's got hand up there.
Yeah, just a quick one from me. Hello. So I'm also Outhall, Steve, if that helps, and Amy, and I think Gemma as well, actually. Don't know who the fifth one is. I think it might be James. Is it James? Anyway, I haven't got my UCheck bits through. There was a bit of a mess up with my email address, I think, when Grace sent out the bits from our side. So although I've sent in my ID bits and horrific photos, there I haven't had the UCheck form, so I'm a little bit aware of that. That was all in.
Do you know who's liaising on it, your side of the office? Because they'll just need to resend the link to your correct email address.
Yeah, so I've asked, I don't want to chuck anyone under the bus. I've asked 3 times. I've asked 3 times for it to be resent through, and I just don't want that to hold up anything from my perspective or anyone else's.
Because Outhall's a couple of weeks ago, so I'll follow up with you on email. I'll follow up with you on email.
Perfect, thank you.
No worries. Wonderful. Anybody else before we go? We're going to do, after this, we're going to do a little bit, go into breakout rooms and just share, a couple bits. But is there any other questions before we do that?
I hope I can see my people in the breakout room. I'm ever so lonely. I'm really lonely. And I want to ask someone how they do that little hand thing with a little hand just went up. I don't even know how to do that.
Maybe in your breakout room, there's someone can show you what to do.
Well, I hope so. And I hope I can see some people because you all sound so lovely. I've got no idea what you look like. It's really rather upsetting.
Great, Paul, shall I hand over to you so you can intro the breakout rooms?
Yeah, although I think you've just done it. Yeah, like Christina said, just a nice opportunity. I think Christina will try and mix it up. So we've got a few people from different programs and different organisations. I think my advice, guys, I mean, talk about what you want to talk about, but I think the conversations I've been in these sessions that are nice is just what attracted you to the program, why you wanted to be part of it, how some of this kind of resonates with your kind of own experiences. I always find it quite sort of empowering to have those conversations ahead of going into the schools and playing the part that you're going to play within Dare to Dream.
Great. Okay. I'm going to assign everyone to a room now. So Lisa, do you want to stop recording? Because we won't be able to record the breakout rooms anyway. Great. Okay.